First question as a coach I always ask the pupil is, are you right or left-handed? In Katie's case, she's right-handed. Now that's really important from a coach's point of view, is because most people who are right-handed, it's not a big problem. But if you're left-handed, they've usually been taught by somebody who's right-handed, and they crisscross lots of things. So the first question you always ask is, are you right-handed? So now I know that she's right-handed, we've got to get the coordination of the eyes and the arms into the same sequence. But the first thing is, the most important piece of fishing equipment is the box. The box is the most important part of anybody's fishing tackle, and that's because you sat on it for 5 hours. You need to be comfortable, you need to be set up. You can't fish and be uncomfortable when you're tipping over and you're laid to one side. You need to get your posture on your box right. So the first thing you do is lower it as low as you can to the ground. That's the first thing, so it's not wobbling on the box. And you can see in Katie's case that the legs are all extended, so she's too high up. So always get it as low as you can. The next thing is the bait tray. The bait tray is very important. Now in this case it's quite good because, sorry, can I just put that there? Yeah, of course. So the bait tray is really important because your hands work in conjunction with the bait tray. So the first thing we do with Katie is get that box right, get it as low as we can. So I've just missed something out. And if you ever want to know if it's straight and you haven't got a what they call it on it, use a tub of water. And if you put the tub of water in the middle of the box like that, you can see the way that it tilts on the outline of the water. If it goes that way, it means it's sloping back, and if it runs that way, it means it's sloping forward. So you can actually look at the water line around there, and it tells you whether your box is straight. And if it's tilting that way, you can see from the water that it's tilting the wrong way. So you can adjust it that way. So when you get your tub of water and put it on your platform, you can see the same thing. In that case, it's okay. It's perfectly flat, which is what you want. You want the platform perfectly flat so that your feet are flat. And the idea then of the tray is this. If it's leaning back, it puts all pressure on your back, and you finish up having a bad back because your knees come above your hips. And once your knees are above your hips, you bend your back and you hurt your back. And most fishermen, I can walk around, I can tell them whether they've got a bad back or not by the posture on the box. So you need the back ½ an inch higher than the front. And what that does, it transfers all your weight off your back onto your feet, which keeps your feet flat. So you don't get a bad back, and it keeps your feet flat on the box. So that's really important, and that's how you set a box up. The next thing then is the bait tray. So when I'm sat on the box, this is a bit low for me obviously because I've got longer legs than Katie, but the bait tray wants to be level with the bottom of the box, and that's so I'm not bending down all the time. So it just needs lifting a little bit so it's level with that part of the box, so that my hands are always like that. That tray is perfect because I've got it slightly in front of my body, because when I'm fishing, the most important part of a bait tray is that there. Wherever that is, where my hand goes, is the most important. So any bait I'm using will be there. So if I use worms, I transfer it over and I move it the whole time. And the simple reason is, if I'm fishing, I can pick my catapult up, and I always go there with my hands. So I can pick them up, look at my float and fire the bait out. So all the time, that spot there, I don't have to look. If I want to use that bait, for example, your natural instinct is not to go there, and you look for it. And once you look for it, you're taking your eyes off the target that you're doing, which is your fishing. So the bait that you're using is always there. If you get your bait tray and go like that, wherever that spot is, that's where your bait goes. And if I want to use sixes, then I turn it over. So that's a nice position, but it just wants to be level with that side of the box. Now then, she's right-handed, so the keep net's in the right position, because when you get a fish, take that off, the keep net's there and the landing net goes on the top. And you can see now that it's on that thing. And the idea is the landing net goes on top of your keep net, so when you're playing the fish you can pick it up and you can net the fish easy. You're not looking for your landing net, so it always goes on top of your keep net. If you're right-handed, when you catch a fish, you pick your fish up and it goes straight into the net. You're not crisscrossing and bending your body over, so it's always slightly in front of you. But most things Katie's got really well, she's done quite well. But one thing she's got really wrong is this. And this is simply in a way. You can see straight away it's in the way of everything. She's going to break top sections. Because I have my bait is all, because I'm right-handed, all my bait and all my tackle is on the left-hand side here where I can get at it. My tackle is what I pick up with my right hand, so what we need to do with this is move it. And it needs to go in a position behind her. On the back leg, like that. In fact, it needs turning over. Like that. As low as you can. And in actual fact, that arm wants to be this side out of the way. So that everything now is not in a way like that. It's out of the way. It's not in a way, she can do things, hey oh, I've got hooked, caught something. Have I managed that? Oh, I know what I've done. Right, I've gone through the thing. So now she's starting to look organised. So you can see straight away I've got more room there now. So next thing is, we don't need that on at time being, is the net for the thing. The positioning of that is this. Most people put it there or there, but it's the wrong position because I class that as my eye line, where I can see without looking. In other words, I can see it without bending my head, I can see it. So anything behind me, you look for. So that needs to be in front of her. Like that. So, have we got a section of a pole? You've got your pole, darling? It needs to be the same height as the box. Just 2 sections will do, please. Give me them 2 there. 2. Perfect. So, when I'm playing a fish, when I play a fish like that and I put it on the roller, I'm not looking for it now because it's there, I can see it, I can just put it in. And I'm still concentrating where I should be, I'm looking at the elastic. So when I'm watching a fish, I can come up, I can take the sections apart, and I'm always going to put it in the net because it's in my eye line there. And when it's there, it's not, you're looking for it, so you're not concentrating on what the fish is doing. So always put the net or whatever you've got to hold the pole on the front legs like that. Now then, which brings me quickly, I can't cover everything obviously, I'm just trying to cover some major points to help you. I'm just worried about this tangle here. Let me just get my section about pole rollers. One of the biggest questions I get asked is, where do I position my pole rollers? One of the biggest questions I get asked, and it's also the easiest to answer. If I look at that behind me, it's a clock face, and 12 o'clock is there and 6 o'clock is here. If you're right-handed, you position it at 11 o'clock. Most people put it at 12 o'clock, they put it behind them. The trouble is with that, you go like that and you look for the rollers. But your natural instinct is to go like that with your rollers, and that is 11 o'clock. So always put your rollers at 11 o'clock. Now then, probably the most important part of today is this. How do I hold a pole? Simple. You don't hold it like that. You don't hold it like that. The easiest way is this. Your elbow should be at the end of the pole like that, and you hold it there, and you hold it so you use your elbow as your strength, but also the most important thing is this. You're holding it like it's an extension of your arm, because if your arm were 11 metres long, you just tie the line to it and just strike that way, and that's all that you're trying to do. But the reason why you do that is you're using markers. What I mean by that is, I see lots of people holding poles like that. The trouble is, that's the weakest part of the pole. And your elbow is the most dangerous part of your body for holding a pole. And what happens is, as you keep striking, because that's the weakest part, you break the tensions and the little fibres in the carbon, sorry. So when you put the next section on and you strike, it breaks there and you wonder why. The damage has been done before. So you hold it, elbow at the end, and you hold it like that. That's how that you hold a pole. And the other thing is, because of that, it's a marker. You always go marker, and you look for the same marker, put it into your hip, and you're always going to the same spot. How do I hold a rod? Quite simple. Your little finger goes towards you where the handle is, like that. So it's little finger, you had two fingers that side, didn't you? Like that, just one. Because what happens then is, the rest of your hand goes forward of the reel. So it transfers, when you cast, it transfers the weight easier than when it's like that. When you cast like that, you don't transfer the weight forward, and it means you can't cast as far. So your little finger, that side of the reel, like that, and that's how you hold the reel, and that's where you're casting. That transfers weight, and it also means you can grab the line easier for casting. Now then, there's some big points that you, as youngsters, have got to learn. So you might as well start from the beginning, and if you start to do it right from the beginning, you'll learn to fish correctly, and it'll be easier for you at a young age. So you can see with Katie now, all the stuff is in an organised position, everything's better, a little bit better prepared, she'll be more comfortable on the box, and if you're more comfortable in your box, you prepare your fishing better. So, then just a few little tips for you. Let you get back fishing now, and we'll try and spend an hour here walking round and try and capture a fish or two.